how do you think about taking or shaving down what percentage or damage from that value at risk based upon forecasting?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So I'll start. I'll start, and then I think Brandon's chopping at the bit to chime in as well. Um, so so for us, you know, we begin with exposure. And risk exposure for us, I think we want to foot stomp the idea that exposure is an opportunity space, right? There's an opportunity space that bounds the totality of likelihood. It's not a hard number. I would never sit here and say that we've got it down to an exact science where we can carry down to the last dollar and cent, but a
Ballparking makes sense,
directional
but
level to
yeah.
determine exposure and that opportunity space. What we're trying to ultimately figure out is in that exposure space, how much of that exposure can we actually buy down, right? So one method of buying down, of course, is just risk transfer, right? We can buy cyber insurance, we
Yep.
can do so, we can push the burden of responsibility onto third-party vendors, so on and so forth. But for us, that exposure and opportunity space shows the potential impact through the calculations that this is what we are exposed to. And then based on the recommendations that we provide, the specific line items that we can take to further buy down risk. Some of them may make sense in that environment based on an organization's acceptance criteria and tolerance. Some of them may not, right? Or some of them may be just deemed acceptable, depending on the organization. And so that's where we start. We define that exposure and then determine the basis for providing recommendations to reduce that level of exposure.